I'm pleased to be joined with Cindy Weeb, Onyeka Okoro, Rachel Smith. You guys are all from Freedom International School. You know, we heard a little while ago about the Share the Night benefit concert that you guys had coming up, but that is now passed. So I'd love to hear about how that went. So, you know, Cindy, maybe we'll start with you. So if somebody maybe wasn't familiar with what Share the Night is, what was that?
Yeah. So for our Share the Night benefit, we had this idea of wanting to find a common space between Manitoba's Indigenous culture and Métis culture and the cultures that are represented within our school, which is a lot of newcomer youth from various countries and cultures. So just creating this space where we could share the night. So we had Howard Jolie was speaking and telling his story, and we had Gavin Forbes, who's a Métis dancer, and he did some demos and shared his culture with us. And then we had our students dancing, and so that was our evening.
And overall, how would you say that it went? You know, like what was the attendance like, and what was it like?
Yeah, so we had 57 tickets sold before the event, which it's a new event. Like we've never had one in spring and had something like this before. So something new. So 57 tickets sold beforehand. We had 73 attendees. Some were completely new to our school, and our ticket winner on CHBN here had never heard of our school before. And so it was really exciting to make those new connections and share about what we do. And then we had 10 student volunteers involved, which Onyeka organized all of that and got everybody moving. We had our pies donated from Hutterite colonies that support us. So that was represented by Horizon, James Valley, Miami, Starlight, and Poplar Point colonies. And so that helped us raise money by selling 37 pies, as well as the pie that was sold or that was enjoyed on the evening. So overall the evening raised $3,000 towards our year-end goal of $55,000 that we still need to keep the school finishing this year well.
And you guys had a bursary for this as well. Can you maybe share a little bit about that, Hanka?
The bursary fund was created to help with families and students who can't afford to pay tuition. So far, we have been able to raise $10,000 towards our tuition bursary from churches and individual donors. And so it's available to them regardless of their financial situation.
Yeah, really just so it's making it like easier for anybody to be able to come to the school if they wouldn't have been able to otherwise.
So they could access really good education and finish well.
And I might add something to that as well. So in Manitoba, private schools receive less funding than public schools, obviously, and that's made up by privately collected funds, typically from parents or whomever or a bursary. But most private schools, even the lowest level of tuition costs is like in the hundreds or low thousands for the year. Ours is $55 a month. So for the year, it's just a couple $100 for a family to send a student. And we have, amounts where if it's a family of several children, then there's different amounts there. But even that is sometimes too much. And so that's why we wanted to make sure that there's no gap. We never turn anyone away, but we do want to cover the cost as much as we can. We provide supplies, laptops, all sorts of things to our students.
Yeah, absolutely. So then obviously this money all needs to come from somewhere. So that's kind of where this benefit concert kind of all kind of fit into it. So, Rachel, I'd love to ask you, you were the MC for this event. So from your perspective, like what was the night like?
It was so fun. Oh my goodness. I think that it's easy sometimes when you go to an event to just sit and observe. And we had a really active night. I think that Gavin did a great job of getting everybody like in the mindset that at any moment they might be called on to dance. So that was really fun. And we were active in our conversations with one another. We had a bit of a tea pie break partway through the night, and it was hard to rein everybody back in. By the end of the night, we were praying for one another and especially for the teachers, and that was just a beautiful moment. So I think the intimacy of the evening in the small size, but also just in that joint purpose and the joy that we were sharing, the stories that we were sharing, the music was incredible. Oh my goodness. I enjoyed it. I felt like I was killing the night every time I came up to be like, all right, stop singing, Howard. Do the next thing.
Oh, wow. You apologized.
I did apologize to myself. Anyway.
Oh, man. Well, it sounds like it was a ton of fun. And I'd love to ask, each one of you, Cindy, we'll start with you. Like, as if you're looking back on this night, what was a highlight for you? That's something that really stood out.
Honestly, a highlight was just seeing God work through all of it, because we tried I know, like, for my part, the things that I needed to do, I tried so hard to make sure everything was prepared. Like, videos were downloaded, so we're not having like any buffering issues, and like all of my slides, all of my graphics, everything was like ready to go. And then the graphics were shining on Howard's head, so I had to cover the bottom half of it. So now, nope, our logo, our QR code, they're not showing. And then I had videos made, and then, well, now I've covered half the slides. So now so I'm like editing slides on my phone before they're going up, so that that doesn't look cut off. And then the music stops halfway through Gavin's performance. It just stopped, and it was downloaded.
Yeah.
Everything, nothing touched. And yet, like, and then, yeah, the music. And so we're like running these things. And so Gavin's like, oh, it's okay. I was getting pretty hot anyway. And he just rolls with it. And then the music wouldn't play when the girls started. So we're trying to scramble and solve the problem again. And one of the dancers starts telling knock knock jokes and keeping everyone engaged. And it's just such a real thing. But like, it was, I told a few people, I'm like, it's just God saying, this is my event. I got it.
Yeah.
You can plan all you want. You can put everything. It's my event because this is my school.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, so like Freedom School started with $200 in the bank account and 16 students registered.
Wow.
This is God's school.
Absolutely. And it
Like,
must be really cool just seeing how it's
Yeah.
grown in the lives that have been impacted
Yeah.
from it.
Yeah. So like I had one of the feedback I got was someone said, I didn't realize this would be such a spiritual event. And someone said, like, it was truly Holy Spirit led. Like, that was just what it was. And the prayer time that you led, Rachel, like, it wasn't what we planned the evening to be. We planned it to be a concert where people had pie and heard about the school, but it was just, God was there. And through all of the challenges that we faced, like, God was there. Yeah. So it just, in the end, like, there was last minute lineup changes. The band, one of their band members was sick. Like, Gavin coming, that was a last minute thing. But just by the end of it, like, it was just so evident that everyone who was there was brought by God to share their gifts. And like, yeah, whether it was words, music, dance, service, fellowship, hospitality, like, it was just everybody was serving and dancing to these rhythms of grace.
And I mean, that's obviously what you want, right? Like you said,
Exactly.
you had your plan, and then it's like God's just like, no, let's shake it up a little bit and just kind of like lead with the punches and just
Yeah.
follow with what He wants to do. Obviously, it was a success too, so that's ultimately what matters. So, Anika, like when you look back, what was something that stood out for you?
I think for me, it would always come back to the students who really get excited to volunteer at our events. And this time, even some of the students, some of their friends equally came to help. Like, we've never met them before. I've never seen them before. So it was nice to also have them involved, because in my mind, I was thinking, now that they're here, they could also talk to other people, other friends, other families about Freedom International School. And one of the students that came to volunteer with us, his name is Manny, really cool kid. He brought his cousin, his brother, they're something like that. And his name is CJ, and he said, oh, this is a really cool place. I didn't know it would be this fun. So just to hear that from someone who also doesn't go to our school is a testimony to what we also do at Freedom. And I would also say the performance by our students. So when they danced to I Serve a Living God by Mercy Chinwo. Yeah, it was really beautiful to see. And people, as they were leaving, were coming up to say they did an amazing job, and they really felt like they had an amazing time. So for me, that was my highlight.
Yeah, and maybe touch on that a little bit more, like kind of what was that like to see the students up on stage? Because it's like, yeah, you guys had your plan of like, okay, this is how we want it to go, but to see the students be involved in it as well.
It's always fun seeing them dance. They love it so much. So, and from my point of view, I think those were one of the things that went really well. Really well. So, and the good thing too is that the students do get to pick the song. So they pick the song, they practice their dance moves themselves. So as far as I'm concerned, that was one of the perfect things that went well, and everyone had a good time. And they got to meet Miss Cindy Gilroy, as well. She's the MLA for our area, and it was really nice, and they got to take pictures with her and talk to her, and I think she's also planning on coming back to school for Careers Day with Miss Bonnie.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was really great.
Yeah, and making those connections.
Yeah.
And Rachel, what about you? What was something that stood out for you?
Man, I think that anyone who has ever served or been a part of a church or ministry is like fully aware that events don't happen in a vacuum. And so I want to give a special shout out to the two of you, especially all the staff that were there, all the students that were there, for what they poured in on top of their regular school day, on top of their regular commitments. And by the time I arrived there, just before the event, you guys had already been working towards it all day. You were staying late. I stayed late as well to drive folks home, but the kids that were there were working at it. They were in the kitchen, they were operating the dishwasher, they were doing all these things, and it's really beautiful to see the entire picture of a night, I think. And I was also just, I was really amazed at I just a special shout out to Hannah KB, the principal of Freedom International School. I don't think that anybody represents the messaging of all that Freedom School does and encompasses as well as she does, because she does it all. She sees it all. And so I was so grateful that she was also at one point in the evening able to come up and share about the night. And yeah, that was really special.
And so maybe if listeners, maybe they missed this benefit concert, but they are like, okay, I still want to support what Freedom International School is doing. Can they still do that? And how can they?
Do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we invite people to partner with the school in 4 ways. First of all, just praying with us, because like we said, this is God's school, and we're just always lifting it up, lift up our teachers. Sometimes the work is really hard. And so praying first, sharing the word about the school, whether you have newcomers in your church or in your life, like let them know that the school exists, because it's a very specialized little place that can help these kids along. So pray, share, volunteer. Reading partners, one-on-one reading partners, and especially people who can come like once a week at a consistent time, build a relationship with the kids. We're always in need of that. If people have special skills like sewing, like cooking, whatever those things are, we are very flexible. So we love to accommodate that. So volunteer. And then if you feel led to donate, that obviously helps too. So get in touch through our website, freedominternationalschool.net, and you can click on donate, or you can just click through connect us, get connected through there.
All right. Well, sure. Oh, yeah.
And I would say submit your resume for a myriad of things. Like let us know if you're feeling that call. Partway through the night, I was reminded of something that's been on my heart as a board member, that this, like a lot of the staff, at Freedom International School remind me of missionaries, just in the way that they have dedicated themselves to this call that the Lord not only has on this school and this ministry, but on them as an individual, and that's what is keeping them. And so I know that the Lord is calling a lot of amazing people with education degrees or even without to serve, and maybe this is the place. So.
Yeah, and maybe you're watching or listening to this right now, and that's you, and you can support what Freedom International School is doing, either donations, service, or if you're looking for a job, you can get in touch. I just want to say thank you to Cindy, Onyeka, and Rachel. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing with what you guys are doing at the school.
Thank you,
Thank
Angela.
you.
It's a pleasure to be here.